Your debut album is selling well. The people are loving it. It looks as if you're set for a prosperous career in the industry, or so you thought. Fast forward a year or so and your career has been turned upside down. The fans are taking to social media to say you fell off. Your sales have dwindled in comparison to your last release. The debut album curse has struck once again. What if you never reach the heights of your first album again? What if you're not actually the next superstar people predicted you to be, but instead just made an incredible album that happened to be your first? Well, in the case of these artists we'll be talking about today, this curse became their reality. Roddy Ricch is the first. He dropped Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial in 2019, which earned him #1 on the Billboard Top 200, multiple awards won, and even a nomination for Best Rap Album at the Grammys. The album was loved by fans and was hailed as nothing short of phenomenal. Then, things went quiet. In fact, things went silent. The artist didn't drop another project until Live Life Fast in 2021. Roddy made fans wait over 2 years for an album that was mediocre at best. It wasn't just this, as the rollout for the album had people thinking this would be his My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, when it actually turned out to be his The Big Day. It completely killed any momentum he'd got from his incredible debut album. Things went from bad to worse for Roddy. His reputation was slowly being tarnished. Preview and snippets led to him deactivating his social media, and fans slowly started to lose interest in the artist, who failed to follow up to his debut album with anything of quality. Feed the Streets Free is the closest he's come to making music of the same caliber, but selling 39k first week shows how little patience fans had for the artist. The levels Roddy achieved with Please Excuse Me for Being Antisocial may have damaged his career in the long run, and it perfectly introduces the debut album curse to us. The next person afflicted with the curse is Lil Tecca, who formally introduced himself to the industry with his debut project We Love You Tecca. A project you need to play in the summer if you want to truly appreciate it. Now, Tecca's album isn't as commercially successful as Roddy's, but it still sold 68k first week, and the vibe the album gave people is unmatched, which led to music fans eagerly anticipating what Tecca would release next. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be for a while. His next project, Virgo World, dropped over a year later and once again didn't live up to what fans expected. In a case similar to Roddy's, it seems he simply got rid of all the momentum he gained from We Love You Tecca. His sales never recovered, with Virgo World selling 35k first week and the sequel to We Love You Tecca dropping even lower, selling 30k. Whilst these are still respectable numbers, there's no doubt he could and should be selling more, especially considering the hype he has around him during each summer. Now, I don't think Tecca's musical ability actually worsened like Roddy's did. In fact, We Love You Tecca 2 is almost an improvement on the first, but the wait for new music is what really stunted him. Tecca isn't someone you go to for meaningful music. Fans simply wanted music they could vibe to, and when he didn't release new music for so long, those fans simply found someone else who provided what they wanted. It's a cold world. Our next example in Lauryn Hill differs from the other two in the fact that Lauryn never released another album after her debut. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is one of the best albums of all time, let alone hip hop or R&B. It's up there with the highest selling rap albums ever and was also awarded several Grammys for its incredible music. Words can't describe how good and impactful Lauryn's album was. Yet she never released again. Quite possibly the worst case of the debut album curse we'll ever see. Whilst I'm sure you could do a deep dive into the reasoning as to why she never released another album, we'll keep it brief for the sake of people's attention spans. She stated that she never felt supported by a label to make another album, even if her first was a massive success. All in all, it seems she simply got tired of the industry, fans expecting too much, wanted to take her music in a different direction with no backing, wanting to focus on her personal life. It all adds up and took a huge toll on Lauryn, leaving fans to ponder what kind of career the artist could have had if she continued to release music. The case of Lauryn Hill shows us the curse strikes in more ways than just one. And okay, it may not actually be a curse if you look at some of the science behind it. Most artists' first few albums leave things to be desired, with clear areas you can improve upon, unless your name is Kanye West. But what if your debut is hailed as a classic and loved by the majority of rap fans? Where do you go from there? Well, this is the predicament these three artists have had to face. Now, I'm not saying Tecca's album was groundbreaking, don't get me wrong, but the reception of the album is something other artists would struggle to match. To follow up to an album loved by all is an incredibly hard feat, as obviously you'd want to match a project with something of similar quality, but this leads to several problems for an artist. Obviously, the artist would have spent a lot of time on their debut album, perhaps more than you would on any other, because you want to enter the scene with something special to really kickstart your career. Then when that goes well, fans quickly want new music from you, as in this day and age, there's such an abundance of artists that they'll just find another if you don't provide the music for them. So you rush for time and need to try to match the quality of your first album, or people will just claim you're a one-hit wonder. It's really just a lose-lose situation. It brings a ton of pressure and expectations upon the artist, and it will lead to overthinking and trying to perfect the music, equaling songs being scrapped, redone, which means that fans would never actually get to hear most music. The strive for perfection is what kills artists. It's something we've seen a lot recently in the music industry, and as the market is so saturated, you can't really waste any time, and that is what usually causes the debut album curse. What other artists do you think have been affected by the debut album curse? Let me know in the comments below, as well as why you personally think some artists will never reach the heights of their first album. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out my previous videos if you enjoyed this one, like, subscribe and turn on post notifications to not miss another one, and I'll see you in the next one.